Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 97 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's one of my favorite holidays. We went out and hung out. Oh gosh, look at you in the Guinness. Hung out with about 35 different people today, and then had a intriguing conversation with a past Speaker of the House. It was kind of funny, but we had a good day. A lot of camaraderie. That's my favorite part about St. Patty's Day. It's like you don't even have to be Irish to, go out and hang out and talk to people. So
No, just everybody's in a good spirit, The whole point of the day is like basically just to be merry and have fun.
Yeah. And what's funny is like it was a Monday too, and from everything I've seen on the news and all that, like it's a pretty busy St. Patty's Day for most places, even though it's landing on a Monday, and you kind of had a bunch of different places doing things.
God,
essentially all weekend. All weekend was like St. Patty's Day essentially. So with it being on Monday.
Yeah, no, I was in Zach's birthday is the 16th, so like St. Patrick's Day is basically not a drinking holiday for me anymore at this point, for good reason. But yeah, Friday he had a party with his friends. Saturday we did family stuff, and then yesterday was his actual birthday. So we'll get into that in a little bit here. First and foremost, shout out to my guy Kyle at Shoot or Shoot.
Oh, I didn't even notice that hat. That thing is sick.
Pretty clean. Hooked me up with a nice promo code, a steep discount on this one. So as always, hey, if you're looking for golf towels, just hit up Kyle on Instagram. He's the best.
Dude,
their towels are sick.
Oh,
he'll help you with like a custom design if you want to do that. Whatever you want to do, just
It's not even close. Their towels are the best. I mean, it's like my towel's still going strong. I think I'm getting close to needing another one just because I want one. But his towels are fantastic, and he's done them for pros and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, look him up on Instagram. It's definitely worth. He did one for Nick Saban not that long ago, which was kind of sick. But
yeah, had all the national championship trophies and stuff on
it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mentioned the hat because for those of you not watching on YouTube, which you should be doing, but if you're not, it's green. So there you go. There's my green for St. Patrick's Day.
Well, I got green on the back of my hat, but I had to wear. It's March Madness. I had to represent. In this episode, we got to look. I know we don't have March Madness on here on our like agenda, but it's so funny. And I was talking to another Kentucky fan. John Calipari has given me PTSD for the first round games. I looked up, dude. I watched Troy film last night. We got Troy in the first round on Friday night, and I'm watching Troy film, and I'm like, dude, there's like no way they're gonna beat us. Like. They are exact opposite. Like, they are the team that we've dominated all year. Like, not very good offensively. Maybe pretty good defensively, but we have a good enough offense that we kind of overcome that. And I'm like, we're going to smoke them. But then, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, but we've lost 2 out of the last 3 years in the first round. So I have, like, the ultimate PTSD of a fan. I'm going to be nervous until we're up, like, 30 with, like, 5 minutes to go on Friday night. So...
Yeah, at least you get to say we in March Madness together. I haven't gotten to say that in about 6 years now because my Bearcats fucking stink, dude. They're in the Crown Invitational, which I think used to be like the CBI or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that.
This is a team that came in preseason ranked 15th in the country.
And remember the rumors how they were like, who'd they smoke in like an exhibition like early on? Wasn't it like Tennessee or something like that?
I forget who it was, but yeah.
It was someone that's like in the tournament and a pretty high seed in the tournament. They're like, oh, they beat them by like 15 in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. I have no answers, only questions at this point. So it's bleak. It's very bleak.
But we are coming up on like 2 of the best weekday sports days of the year. You got basketball games from 12:15 in the afternoon to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. It's like it's over 12 hours of basketball. March Madness is by far probably it's like up there. It's like top 3 for sporting events for me. But you know how much I love college basketball. I am like this past weekend, I stayed up. Kentucky lost on Friday to Alabama. They got smoked. A lot of injuries. It's been a tough year for us. I really, this is going to be a big what if year for Kentucky. It's like, man, they beat, they're 3-0 against teams. They were 5-0 against teams that played in the ACC and SEC championship game this weekend. So they beat Duke, they beat Louisville, they beat Tennessee twice, and they beat Florida. But it was all when they were healthy, right? They're not healthy now. They're down to like their 4th point guard. But anyway, so they lost on Friday. I stayed up and watched UC Irvine versus like UC Santa Clara, and I till 1 o'clock in the morning. No business doing that, by the way. But it was a pretty good game. I was like, look, basketball is basketball to me, especially when it comes to college basketball. I'm a freak. I'll admit it. I'm sick in the head when it comes to college basketball.
For me, I put, March Madness is like in that pantheon of sports, like those like big events that you like, if you're not a fan of, you'll watch kind of events. So it's up there with like the Kentucky Derby, the Olympics, the Indy 500, like these things that you don't regularly watch, but like that one event in the sport is happening. That's where it ranks for me.
Okay. Yeah, I know you're not like your thing is the NFL, right? Like I get that. Like I think you're like you with the NFL is like me with college basketball. I'm deep in the Ken Pomeroy rankings. Like I'm deep into analytics nowadays. It's funny, we're doing a contest in my house. The winner for my kids, if one of my kids wins, they get $100 shopping spree. Wherever they want to go. The wife, if she wins, gets to stay in a hotel of her choice for one night locally. Somehow I'm getting look at you.
Bang. Let's go. Split the G for the listeners on the Guinness there.
But then, so my wife she wins, she gets to stay at a local hotel, like one night locally, have fun, go sleep. I don't care what you do. Somehow I'm getting the short end of the stick here. I get to have my kids clean on demand for a month. That seems like not a good trade-off, but I'll say this. If you ever are wondering, as a parent, you're doing the right thing, you're trying to get your kids to like your teams, all my kids pick Kentucky to win it all. So
well, we've got
an interesting Final Four selection here. I've got one kid with an all SEC Final Four, which honestly probably not super far off. I mean, it's definitely could happen, right? With 14 teams, I've got another kid with Montana in the Final Four. Interesting choice.
Go Grizz, baby.
The Grizz, yeah. I'm not too keen on the one kid picking Louisville to go to the Elite Eight for obvious reasons. It's a tough scene. But no, it'll be fun. It's a nice little contest we got going on here in our house. So
nice. Yeah, I honestly, for whatever reason, I just haven't gotten into it yet. I haven't even looked at a bracket. This is the latest I've ever gone without looking at the bracket.
Wow, man, I'm already future bets. I'm looking at lines. I'm waiting on the lines for Thursday. I don't like it because teams will withhold news, especially bubble teams. They'll withhold news about a guy, post-selection. I don't like doing it this early because they might hey, this guy's going to play, and then all of a sudden come Wednesday, it's oh, this guy's not playing. Yeah. So I like to wait to make those bets until Thursday morning because that's when you get the freshest news. They're already in the tournament. They're not, whatever. So I wait to make my bets until Thursday morning for the game, the actual game lines and things like that. So
no, for sure. Yeah. Unless you see something that just feels egregious.
Yeah.
No reason to go early on college basketball.
Exactly.
All right. Well, if you were here and you're listening, thank you. Please smash the like button if you're watching. Subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you get your podcasts, and obviously on YouTube as well. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack, and we'll definitely get to some fan mail later. A lot of takes being thrown around, maybe some personal attacks even. Calls
I've taken some serious bullets, by the way.
Yeah, we can get I think there's offline and online fan mail that's occurred, so we'll get to that later. But if you want to send us some official fan mail, that's always down in the show description. Just click that link and shoot us a text. Just wanted to shout out real quick. We recorded and put out our best fictional sports character bracket. The breakdown video was absolute blast. Like it,
Dude.
I think you and I were texting, and it was like, this is the dumbest thing we've ever done, but it was also like one of the most fun things we've ever done.
It was so like, I felt very accomplished after we got done. Like it was so much fun. Like just throwing out takes, and for us, like it was cool. Like it was like a lot of nostalgia. We're talking about. Yeah. I told you I listened to it twice already. Just like listening back, and the talks of like the PF Flyers from Benny the Jet. Like it was just like a lot of nostalgia, and it kind of made me want to watch some of these movies again. Movies that I haven't seen in a while. I've pretty much seen. I think I've seen every movie that was in the bracket, but some of them I haven't seen in quite some time. So I'm ready to watch some of those movies again.
Yeah, honestly, it was just so much fun just to like talk through it all. I mean, obviously we went through this big process to even put together that. Yeah. Whatever. It felt official to us. Who cares? But it was so cool to see everybody's like differences, just like their personal influences and biases in it. We had such different Final Four. You and I actually shook out pretty similarly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. But, Nick and Gunth had their own
just
spins
off
on
the
it.
Wall.
And yeah, there was a lot of moments where I was like, man, I just did not frankly see that upset coming through, and you guys like stunned me. So it was fun. I mean, just a total blast.
So
I'd
do it again. Like we're gonna do another bracket next year. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll do another bracket next year. It won't be fictional. Something more controversial than fictional sports characters. I don't know what we can do, but we'll have to think about it.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, if you've not watched or listened to that episode, please go check it out. And back9sixpack.com, that is with the number 9, 6 is spelled out. If you want to download the bracket, print it off, fill it out. I think that's the only real way to have some takes on it. You got to like actually feel the bracket.
You don't know.
You got to sit with it,
Yeah, like that's the thing is like, I ranked them a certain way, and then, you start getting into the matchups and the nitty gritty. I'm like, man, I kind of like this guy better, even though I know I ranked this guy higher. But
yeah.
There was a lot of instances where it's like, man, if this guy had a different matchup, like he would make it further. You know what I mean? So.
Oh man, yeah, that I totally know, totally get it. Yeah, so go ahead, print those off. Let us know about that. I think I'm gonna get you guys to send me pictures of your bracket so we can all post. I'll post them on our social media stuff
for sure.
All right. Before we get to some pro golf stuff, real quick check in on our own personal golf games. It is officially posting season. GCGA's open posting season in Ohio. I was thinking about this earlier. This is probably going to be the latest in the year in a long time before my first round, and almost definitely the longest layoff I've had between rounds.
Well, the winter we had was just tough. I mean, so the official count was 62 days of snow cover. I mean,
yeah.
Look, dude, that's a full 2+ months because February is 28 days, so we went full 2+ months with snow cover, dating back to like November or something like that. So yeah, it was a tough winter to even sniff real grass. It just was what it is. What it is.
Yeah, I mean, between that and the appendicitis, I was really, really not setting up well for me to get out. And
I mean, frankly, it happened at a good time. It was like you weren't playing golf anyway. So
no, but I will say, so segue here. Took Zach to go get some new golf clubs. He had woefully outgrown the previous set we had for him. So I took him out to Meadowlinks, my old stomping ground. I used to work there for like 10 years. Throughout college and high school. My guy Matt hooked us up with some clubs, got him out on the range, so Dad had to hit some balls too, of course. The swing is hot garbage right now. And all of the feels that I thought I'd been feeling, and the swing, like the speed gains, all that, really felt like they were just like minimally there, if at all. Turns out when you miss a month with this appendix situation,
not great. Things
don't hold up very well. So yeah, long story short, just really need to get back into the speed training here. Some of the drives I hit, like truly like like just nasty, like skanky, like gross, like ugh. I can't even describe how bad. Ugh. So yeah, there's a lot of work to do there is basically what the moral of the story is, but absolute blast to get Zach into some clubs. He's so excited about, like, I don't know if I've seen this kid smile any bigger than that, taking him up there.
I saw the video. He looked very excited.
Yeah, I took a picture of him and went with the clubs in the range and all that, and yeah, he's just excited to have clubs that fit him again. He's got the flu now. It's running through us. We're struggling over here in general, but he came down when I was working today and was down on our putting green in the basement.
Hell
with this
yeah.
new putter. So I was like, this is good. He went out back too and hit balls today, but then he passed out. He like fell asleep.
Yeah,
for 2
he's
hours.
like, I'm done.
Yeah, but he's excited about it, which has me really excited.
No one's gonna outwork him. Nobody.
No, he's if anything, he's going to be like his dad. He'll be a grinder, you know.
Absolute grinder. Yeah, tough. Yeah, at least he got to the range. That's the first step. Is like you got to get out there and start. You got to get the feel of the golf club again. I say this, and I'm not trying to sound like haughty toddy or whatever, but I think the hardest part this time of year is like club face control. You know what I mean? Like I feel like in July, like I know where my club face is. I know if it's closed. I know if it's a little open. Like this time of year, it just feels like a door with like missing hinges. It's like it feels like it's just swinging with like no control. At least the last couple of times I played golf, that's what it feels like. It just comes with time. I mean, it really does, and you just got to get out there and hit as many balls as you can, play as much as you can, and it'll eventually come back.
Yeah, that's for sure what I was feeling. It was you take it back, you get back there, and you're like, okay, well, I think it's open. Let me try to shut it. And absolute piss missile left, you know. Just no feel once you get to the top of where your club face is.
It's funny, like 2 weekends ago, I did 3 hours in like a simulator or whatever, and you cannot believe and again, like I'm working out 6 days a week, 5 days a week, 5 days a week guaranteed, 6 days a week most, some weeks. Like the golf muscles, like just they disappear, and I'm doing a lot of core work, a lot of stuff that like golf, quote unquote, like workout people do. And like, there's nothing you can simulate that simulates swinging a golf club, 100 times or anything like that, other than swinging a golf club 100 times. And it's funny, like, we play in our big tournament and it's, 27 holes the one day and 18 the next. And you're not even sore, right? Like you might be like a little tight or whatever, but you're not even sore. I'm like, if I played that right now, I'd come home after the first day, like pass out, heat packs everywhere. Like I'd be a mess right now if we did that right this second.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We, it was just like, I texted Nick this morning. I was like, dude, I'm golf sore. Like just my forearms to my wrists, like everything right in that area is just from the impact alone was enough, Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got some rust to knock off. Let's put it that way.
For sure.
Oh, all right. Pro golf time. Best thing you saw in golf this week? I guess this could be non-pro golf.
Oh God, it's not even close. So the Ontario boys, did you see that on Twitter this weekend?
No, I totally missed this.
So it was three college guys from Ontario, Canada. Somehow they came across tickets. They left their house Saturday, afternoon, and drove 20 hours through the night. Got down to Sawgrass. Went on Sunday. Got a picture of Joel Damon. I'm guessing it's not confirmed, but I'm guessing they're Joel Damon's tickets. Is my guess.
Gotcha.
Joel Damon gave him $100 for beers when he met up with him, like on the first or second hole or whatever it was. I think that's the coolest story. It takes me back to not having any responsibility. You're like, fuck it, we're driving 20 hours to a golf tournament and you just leave. Like little envious of that. But I thought that was really cool. And Monday Q info was kind of following them, or like tweets and stuff like that. There was one point where they had the rain delay. You see the pictures of like the guys out on the putting green, like on 15, like posing for pictures, and they had the flag, and they were like, They were on the green on 15. And he was like, "Oh God!" Someone was like, "Oh God, please don't be the Ontario boys." Like, it wasn't them, but no, I thought that was really cool. Again, it's all like the fan connection is what's going to make golf grow, and them getting those tickets, assumingly from Joel Damon. That's what like being a fan and like fan connection from the player standpoint is all about, right?
Yeah, and I think we some players that maybe have said put their foot in their mouth this week along those lines as well. So
considering how the week started, I think it's very cool how it shook down with those kids getting tickets and driving through the night to come down for Sunday. So not naming any names from people that got into it with fans, but he may or may not have won a tournament today.
Sure, we will get to that. So yeah, look, it was very hard for me to put this on here, but I gotta say, the Creator Classic is like set up for me to hate it, but it was pretty cool and pretty entertaining.
It was pretty good.
I mean, I could do with some of the without some of the. It's still another one of those things where golf like tries to make it like too golf. So you've got like too many people announcing, too many people on the court, like all this stuff,
and they're getting rulings on drops and stuff.
It's just like, I
get where you're coming from on that. Yeah,
like if you're gonna lean into the Creator Classic, like the creator aspect of this, like let them cook, let them do their thing more. But it's fine. This is a good first step. But dude, I'm not even a Barstool guy, but I know it was a disgrace how he played. But all of the Trent stuff was so fucking funny.
Dude, so he made that divot on 16, and it was like, I cannot wait till someone's in this divot on Sunday, and like, it's a problem. It becomes a real problem at that point.
Yeah, dude, they must have had to like bring in like a backhoe to like fill that, and
Dude, there's no way they could just like let that fly. They had to go fill it. Like they had to sod that for sure. There's no way.
When I saw that, it literally looked like he like blew out.
I thought his knee was dead. Like I'm like, dude's gonna need a freaking MRI after this. But dude, Gabby Golf Girl is a problem with pace of play. It was a problem. It was a problem. I like her. Like her content is actually very good. The pace of play was a problem, a real problem. Like,
I mean, I think there's probably two things with that. One, when you're in that space and you're used to like, you're probably taking like 5 different shots of the same shot. Like you're just making videos, doing whatever the hell you want. So I don't know if pace of play is really a concern for her. But also she was in the group with Solly from No Laying Up and Roger Steele. And I'm pretty sure those are 2 pretty good players that move.
Yeah, they are.
Too. Yeah. So it's like, it kind of makes you look doubly bad.
Yeah. Yeah. She didn't play bad.
No, she kept it very respectable.
The guy that I said was going to get exposed got exposed, for the record.
Well, of course. I mean, I still don't understand why he was the one that went out and played. Oh, no, you're talking about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Kyle, what's his name? What's his last name? Berkshire. Yeah. I said, there's some chatter. Like he posts videos on YouTube and there's some major chatter about guys that have played behind him, hitting the same shot 4 or 5 times and take, obviously then, the best one makes the video, right? There's some chatter and I saw it and I said, this guy's going to get exposed, and he got exposed. Like for what he posts, you know what I mean? Like good on Gunther. He did a video, I think last year, where it was like, hey, guys can make bogeys in these videos.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you watch that dude's videos, like you think he's shooting 63 because it's like birdie here, a birdie here. Like, okay, like there's no way, you know what I mean? And he got exposed. He was 6 or 7 over in 8 holes. It was not good. And you're like, you see a good golfer and you're like, look, they're just not on, like, it's just not their day, right? Like that happens. Like golf's hard. He didn't even show like lights, like flashes of like, oh, this guy's a good golfer. It's just not his day. He didn't really show anything other than he's carrying the ball 360 and it's all over the planet, which we all kind of figured anyway, I
think we found a new rival for you.
Yeah, I would love to play that dude. I would love to play that dude.
Well, I'll just let that sit there then. Yeah, I mean, Wes Bryan getting like bodied by his own brother, and he's like the one pro among all these people. That was tough.
That's a tough team, by the way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I would imagine if there was.
I mean, he has status.
Yeah, so I mean, if there was any odds on this in advance of it, I would imagine he'd be a pretty big favorite.
Not even close. It would be pretty far up there. But Grant Horvat is a player, dude. Like, he is a player.
Yeah, for him to make that birdie on 17, pretty stones right there to do that. Fat Perez had the almost tiger putt, basically. Got to Euro step on everybody. That was
electric.
One moment. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where it's like I went into it with very low expectations and was like pleasantly surprised that I was enjoying watching it.
Yeah, it was good. I think they had a good group of guys. I actually really enjoy Roger Steele a lot. I think he's very dry. He's got like a drier sense of humor, but he's like kind of low key funny at the same time. And I didn't even know him and Sully had like this like this grudge match. Like apparently he played Tron like 2 months ago. And Sully said he wanted him. He's like, you're like, I'm next. Like, I want you next or whatever. I didn't know that was a thing. And then for them to get paired together and Sully to, beat them was kind of cool. But I do like, I think the group of people they had was just about as good. I didn't know one of the girls, never seen her stuff. I can't remember, like Lynn or something like that. I've never seen any stuff from her, but I think they had a really good group of people.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it was fun. And then we didn't even mention Trent on 17, making an 11. I think he rinsed like 6 balls or whatever, 5 balls. And just like when he was going full 10 cup, he said he was going to keep hitting from there until he got one on.
Dude, I felt that. So like I wanted to text my dad, but I didn't want to bring it up like any bad memories. So when we played there, I think I was like 13 or 14 years old. So we go down there, we play. My dad was like playing with a broken finger. So like not great. But then like that hole was like against and off the left.
Oh.
I hit one in, I hit my next one on. My brother hits his first one on. My dad gets up there and just is pumping balls into the water.
Man.
And I keep handing him like brand new Pro Vs and I'm like, and my mom's like just I can see her head working like $7. I think my dad ended up rinsing like 5 or 6 too. So I felt that. I've seen that in real life before. It is a tough moment because you want to hit one on the green, right? Like you're like, I'm hitting it from here and it's going to get on the green. So I felt that. And I'm glad he kept hitting from there. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. And you know what? Shout out Justin Lauer. Did you see the par he made?
Yeah.
So he hits his first shot in the water and then goes to the drop area and dunks it for a 3.
Yeah. That was on Thursday, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
I believe it was Thursday. Yeah. And then not a great moment, but a funny moment. The Alex Smalley T-ball yesterday on 17 as well.
Oh, yeah. Rolling along the boards or whatever. God, that was brutal, man.
That rolled for so long. You just hear the crowd just like, oh.
Yeah, because like if it ends up on the board, like you have a chance, right? Like, to at least get it on the green, you're not making worse than bogey at that point, probably.
No, probably not.
So that was tough.
It kept looking like it was going to stop, and it did not stop. So yeah, that's a good transition into the players. Rory McIlroy wins the Players Championship in a Monday playoff over JJ Spawn. Fun fact: it was Rory's 3rd win on St. Patrick's Day.
That is crazy.
A little bit of luck of the Irish for him.
What were the other 2?
I don't know. It's weird.
Like, that's why I'm like, what tournaments are on? I don't know.
I don't think it would have been the Players the first time he won because it hadn't moved yet. Probably
no, because that didn't move until like what 2019 or something like that. They moved it to March in 2019.
Yeah, and I think he won in 2018.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would have been that. Maybe like an Arnold Palmer Invitational or something. He's won that before.
Yeah. Okay,
probably,
that makes sense.
Probably the Honda Classic too.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the Florida events.
It's a crazy stat though. I saw that today and I'm like what other tournaments did he win? Because he's like, I don't know. You just don't think about that. At least I don't think about that stuff anyway.
Right. His 2nd win this season. He won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. That's his 28th win on the PGA Tour, and I believe it makes 42 total worldwide wins. Stacking up quite the resume as obviously, He's been around for what, 15 years, it seems like at this point, doing it at this level for a long time. I will say I did see quite a few tweets, just kind of like soaking in some of the stats and stuff from people. Kyle Porter posted on X, Rory's last 25 worldwide starts. He has 5 wins, 3 runner-ups, 14 top 5s, 22 top 25s, and only 1 missed cut.
Damn.
So, like, a lot of the headlines go to Scotty, and rightfully so with the year he had last year. But like, I think Rory's been Xander did pick up 2 majors in this time, but I think Rory's been a pretty clear number 2 in this mix for a while.
Probably. It was considering the struggles of some of the guys behind him. Like your Colin Morikawas, and maybe outside of Xander. Xander's probably 3 behind them just because he won 2 majors last year. But I would say he's comfortably number 2 behind Scotty. If you talk about how they've played in like the last 24 months.
Yeah. And then he kind of but gave a lot of credit to, him feeling like he's become a more complete golfer in the last year. Specifically citing a lot of he's been really working on a lot of like 3/4 shots, half shots, flighted shots, like things that he just, never really put in play routinely over his career.
I will say his wedge play has gotten a lot better compared to like 3 years ago. He was driving the ball like off the charts good and just could not hit a wedge to save his life.
I
that's gotten a lot better.
Texted Nick a little bit yesterday because I had a little wager on Rory to win, so I'm happy that came through. But when he got to 17 yesterday afternoon, I was like, dude, he's spinning this into the water, isn't he? To his credit, Nick was like, nah, we're good. But like in the past, honestly, he would just hit these towering, low iron and wedge shots, and they'd have way too much spin. These full shots, and they come spin ricocheting back off. And he's got that he hit it today too. He hit a punch 9 to the middle of the green on 17, and that's just and it just sat there. It didn't spin back. It didn't take a big hop. Like, he just seems much more in control of the golf ball with irons and wedges in his hand than he has previously.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm really trying not to fall for the pre-Masters hype here, but so I saw Jamie. Do you follow Jamie Kennedy?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Did you see his tweet about his wins by month?
I did not. I've seen a lot from him, but not that.
So 2 in January, 3 in February, 4 in March, 0 in April. 7 in May, 3 in June, 2 in July, 5 in August, 4 in September, 3 in October, 5 in November, and 2 in December. Of course, the 0 in April being the notable thing there.
I don't know, man. It just seems like I know he's playing probably some of the best golf he's played in quite some time. It's the mental hurdle of Augusta that I just don't know. I just don't know if he's... Dude, he's stealing phones from college golfers. Like, there's still some mental stuff going on there. Just because he won this week doesn't make his mental game that much better. You know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean. I think the one thing that could be working in his favor is just that a lot of the other competition around him is kind of not playing well, right?
Like, the best players are not playing great right now.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like the live contingent where it's like a crapshoot. Who knows what those guys are really up to.
Joaquin Neiman winning this weekend there. Yeah.
That best player in the world, though, right? I mean,
like, he is, like, if we were to rank golfers, like, he's probably top 30. You know what I mean? Like, and he was when he left, right? Like, he was top 15 or something like that. But yeah, number 1, I doubt that. Yeah, I'm gonna say no on that. But
it's gonna be this way until it isn't. But he still has 0 career top 10s and majors. So
yeah, that's a tough for the number 1 golfer in the world to have 0 top 10s and majors.
Right. But anyway, like the fact that, Scotty had this, the hand injury and just hasn't quite seemed right. Xander dealt with a rib and he shot 77-81 this weekend. Wyndham withdrew. Ludwig missed the cut. Victor is lost. Like, there's just this is about a clear runway as Rory's going to have coming into the Masters in this era. And it kind of feels like it's been shit or get off the pot for 15 years, but like, this is a pretty good opportunity.
Does this not feel like when Brooks is just going to jump out of the woods and snatch one from? I mean, like, it's like, you want to talk like he's a bully, dude. Like, he is, and that would honestly, just thinking about it, I'm like, this is one that Brooks is like. Everybody's playing bad. Rory sees the runway. and just Brooks jumps out of the woods and snatches it right out of his hands. I mean, I could easily see that happening.
I mean, I think Brooks just came in second in Singapore, or wherever they were.
Yeah, except did you see the video of him like skanking an iron? He's like, you need to go back to Corn Ferry.
Yeah. But, that's holding himself to a high standard, I suppose. There.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that's, again, I just feel like that the sea is parting for Rory to walk through.
I'll tell you this. I think we say this every year, but if there's a year that it's like, this is the year, this might be actually the year that he's like, okay, if it doesn't happen now, when, kind of deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so before we get to like the rest of the tournament, you've mentioned this already, the whole phone gate situation. A couple other things this week too. So kind of starts off the week with like an assault on the creators in YouTube golf. Yeah, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but to paraphrase, he basically was like, yeah, it's not for me. Like, I want to watch competitive golf and the best players playing. And he made the comment that he's not of that generation. I was like, what the fuck, dude? You're the same age as us.
I know. I'm like, 35. You're 35 years old. Like, and I like it. So I'm like, yeah, dude, so after his like round today is like, guy's age, man. Like, he's got a lot of gray hair.
Yeah.
But I keep reminding myself, like, he's my age. Like, he's 35 years old. He is of that generation. That is literally the generation that they're aiming for with all these creators. It's like that 22 to 40 age group that they're trying to pull in as new fans. So it's a wild take. I mean, just absolutely wild.
It also seems really dumb when he literally is part owner of a screen golf league. Like,
that's like creator, like it's like, like it's more for like content than it is actual golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, that was just like kind of like an initial like, okay, well, I mean, whatever. But then the phone thing happens, right? During the practice round. Apparently this kid who we later find out is a golfer at Texas. Who
had just won like that previous week, by the way.
Yeah, he just won. And he, shouts something stupid about like, oh, gonna choke again like the 2011 Masters, which not that sick of a burn considering that was 15 years ago and that kid was probably 4 years old. Yeah.
At best he was 5. Like, at best.
So Rory walks up to him and is like, hey, let me see your phone, and then just grabs it and walks away. And that's kind of like the only context you get from any of this, because that's all you could see in the videos that kind of went around. But yeah, so later he's after the fact, after the first round, actually, he shoots 67 and he's in the media tent and somebody asked him like, hey, do you want to like explain what went on there? Like, what happened with the phone and the kid? And he's like, no. And then someone else asks and he basically is like, they were like, why can't we ask you about this? And he's like, because I don't want you to. And it just like, everything about it was just like super cringe and super not what you need to do for PR purposes stuff. And I just don't really like, I don't understand where it's coming from.
Yeah, I will say this. Like, I mean, I remember when I was 20 years old. Heck, last year I was yelling "Scam Young" at Cam Young at Valhalla. Like, and I was 34 at the time. You know what I mean? So, it's crazy because every other sport, right? Like, there's heckling. Like, there's always going to be that guy. You know what I mean? Golf's no different. Like, as long as you don't do another backswing, like, that's where I kind of draw. Like, don't do another backswing. Like, when they're getting ready to hit a shot, don't do it then. You want to do it afterwards, as they're walking down the hole. I think that's just kind of part of being a public figure. You know what I mean? And playing a professional sport. And I would say, a lot of professional athletes would agree with that. I really, I think back when we were kids, like, Reggie Miller and Spike Lee going at it, in the gardens. And it's like, he could have had Spike Lee ejected, right? But he was just splashing threes and yelling at Spike Lee the entire time, right? So I don't know. Rory is, he's not doing himself any favors. I can tell you that. And I think that's really what it boils down to. It's all about grow the game and we want to be, more personal with fans. And then you're making comments about the creators, the content creators, and then you're taking a kid's phone, because he heckled you. Like, I get if you want to go over there and talk to him, hey, come on, man. Like, what do we
Yeah.
like? You know, can we chill it out a little bit? Like, I get it. Okay, I'm a pub, but like, he took his like that's the most immature thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, took his phone and had him, kicked out of the event too. That's kind of a bummer. But yeah, it's like there was. I think he did an interview with Kyle Porter. I don't even know if this might have been a year ago. This might have been this. I can't remember. But there was a comment in there in one of the the quotes where he had mentioned like basically like, hey, like the media, us, like we're all in this together, like talking golf, big picture, and like wanting all the the boats to row in the same direction and be positive and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, you're out here taking kids' phones. You won't answer questions about it after the fact. Like, but you want the media to like, gloss you or glaze you, whatever the kids say today. I don't know. It just all feels.
Well, I think he didn't do him any subs. Like, if he comes out and goes, "Here's what the kid was yelling," it pissed me off. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have taken his phone, but I did. I think people would have had less of a problem with it. I really do. Like, hey, I overreacted. I was pissed off. This kid's yelling at me. Like, I don't think anybody would have seen any. Like, they've probably been like, well, it's still stupid you took his phone, but I get it. You know what I mean? Right. We all overreact sometimes, but to just 100%. Like brush it off and like, oh, it didn't even like almost act like it didn't even happen is wild.
Well, and I had two separate people text me this weekend, like during the round yesterday, just saying like, fuck Rory.
Yeah. Oh,
like, just because they didn't want him to win.
I'll be honest, I was. I don't usually root against him. But right. I was rooting against him this weekend. I really, really did not want him to win after that.
And we've done this podcast for almost 2 years now, and anyone that's listened long enough or whatever, you probably picked up that I'm a pretty big Rory fan.
I like him too.
I've defended him a lot of the way, and like people have problems with him. He flip flopped or whatever on the live thing, and some other issues along the way. But like I've given him a lot of grace and a lot of empathy and understanding for the situation he was put in. Like he tried to make a stand. The tour, everyone else kind of hung him out to dry, and he's still kind of fighting the good fight despite all of that. But when it's stuff like this that comes up, it's kind of like you're making it hard on those of us that have been here.
Yep. Well, I know from personal experience, like I think it was 4 years ago at the Memorial, he was going through some family stuff, and we're walking behind the clubhouse, and he's out there on the phone, and my oldest daughter knows who Rory is. She's like, Dad, there's Rory right there. Like, he's outside the clubhouse, he's outside the ropes, and she went up to him, and like he just dropped everything he was doing and took a picture with her. I thought was like, I'm like, dude, like I was already a fan, but I'm kind of a bigger fan now, and I feel like all that goodwill he's kind of built up with everybody is kind of like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, you feel bad for him. He's had some tough breaks and majors, and it's like now you're like, I kind of don't feel bad for you anymore. You're kind of like getting what you deserve almost at this point. Yeah, and that's the tough stance. But he just this weekend pissed me off. It really did. Like, the dude's 20 years old. Like, it's not like he's a 40-year-old or something like that. He's 20 years old. He's out there trying to have fun. He thinks he's having fun, and you overreact in a practice round, by the way. It wasn't even a real round.
Yeah, I mean, we don't technically know everything that went down because he didn't want to talk about it, but like outside of him like pulling a whatever from Happy Gilmore, the dude that's just like calling him a jackass the whole round, outside of being harassed to like that level, I think you got to have a little thicker skin in that.
Yes, 100%. 100, especially the caliber player he is. Like, you just have to have thicker skin than that. So
yeah. And then one other note too is along the same lines, the whole thing with Colin Morikawa not speaking to media last week, coming back this week and basically doubling down and being like, hey, I don't owe anybody anything. And then when people give you shit for that, then you like get pissed about that. So then you come back in and you talk about how you signed autographs and all this stuff and you're a good guy and whatever. Awesome. But like, especially in this era of the money that's involved, there's outside investment, fan participation. Like, the only way that we truly see these people on a week to week or even month-to-month basis is by media appearances.
Yep.
And like, if you're the guy that came in second at API and you're one of the favorites coming to the Players, like, I'm sorry, but like, we need you to talk to media.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I had a conversation this past week, and it's like a lot of these players it's like the guy that signed the big contract and doesn't work as hard anymore. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
get that second contract, and it's like, he's the highest paid quarterback in the league, and they're just like, you know what? I was doing summer workouts, but I don't think I'm going to do summer workouts. It's kind of like that. It's like, all right, we got our payday. We're getting our guaranteed pots. We're getting our, elevated events with no cuts. We're getting essentially guaranteed money. Yeah, I don't need to do this anymore. Like, that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah. There's definitely a sense of entitlement, I think, that comes with it. Honestly, I think that's what makes, what Scotty did last year, what Rory's been doing, like these guys that have like consistently grinded and like every tournament is, the focus or whatever, makes it all that more impressive, because there's a lot of guys that would just kind of coast through, like you just said, and collect a paycheck. But like there are some that do still care about winning, which is
and I'll say the one person that's kind of surprised me, that maybe not from like a winning and working, again, maybe a winning standpoint. He won 2 majors last year. Like Xander's taking the time. Like he's been on a couple channels, like YouTube channels, and he's out there, getting involved with the content creators and things like that. I would say if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would have said that was the last person I would have thought had kind of like take that stance of like, I'm going to go out and do this stuff. I don't know how he is with fans or anything like that, but like going out and like I think he was on Bob Does Sports like 2 months ago or whatever. He would have been like the last person I would have thought done that. So good on him for doing that, because everybody else seems like they're going in the opposite direction when it comes to like fans and fan interaction and media and appearances on YouTube channels and things like that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, rest of the tournament, top fives and notables here. Second for JJ Spawn, big payday, tough scene today in the playoff. He played, really well, obviously outside of that, but just came up short, hit a ball in the water in 17, couldn't get it done. But 3 straight top threes for JJ Spawn. Pretty impressive. He's been a good ball striker for a long time. I think we saw some of his putting woes and chipping woes crop up in this event specifically too. But that's a guy that can compete week to week.
How about the people on the leaderboard that were just like not bombers? Like
T3, Tom Hoagie. Lucas Glover.
Lucas Glover was like leading the tournament and hit fairways. Like he's not a bomber. He's not short, but he's by far not a bomber of the golf ball. He's like very precision golf, especially at this stage in his career.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of interesting. It was like, man, but it does that course bobs and weaves through, trees, and accuracy, outside of distance is definitely the main focus of this golf tournament for sure.
Speaking of Lucas Glover, I texted you guys yesterday. Bud Colley stepped on Glover's golf ball on hole 16.
Yeah.
And I was like the Leonardo DiCaprio, like, the whistle at the point of the TV thing. Yeah. Because a couple years ago in the Stampede, that happened to me where it was the year that we won. And I was chipping and someone stepped on my ball in the rough and just like, I had a perfect lie too before that. So it was,
I know you get to place it, but still it's like
not the same.
No, it's not the same. It's never the same.
This guy stepped on it and totally embedded it. So yeah, that was
dude. What a blast from the past, Bud Colley. Like I remember him getting his tour card in like PGA fall season. God, it's probably 10 years ago at this point. Came out of Alabama, played the fall series, plays well enough to get his card, and disappears. And now he's back with a T6 this week. That's crazy.
Yeah, for those that don't know, he was hit by a car in Columbus.
Did not know that, actually.
Yeah, okay. I think it was either right before or right after the Memorial a few years ago.
Damn.
Yeah, got hit by a car and was pretty hurt, obviously, from that. So this is the comeback tour, a huge bucket of points and stuff that I'm sure he needs for status.
Oh, I'm sure.
His card. So yeah, he got a T6 out of it. Just to be honest, the sustainability of his game was not there this week. It was a lot of chipping and putting.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of always been his game. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
yeah. So that's
it's like a house of cards essentially. It's like, when is this going to crash down?
Yeah, sadly for him. A part of the T3 contingent, Akshay Bhatia. Always got to shout out Akshay. Love watching him play. I honestly think he could have won by 3 shots if he knew how to putt for a round and a half on the weekend.
I also think he's anchoring, just for what it's worth.
We'll have to watch. I'll monitor that.
It's close.
It's
very close. Look, I'm not calling the guy a cheater. I'm just saying it looks very close to anchoring.
That's tough. We'll have to watch that because we're not about that life here on the Back Nine Six Pack. I will also say about Akshay, doing a little Masters odds perusing this morning.
I mean, I'm sure he's moving up the board.
Okay, well, DK was hanging a 120-1 on him still.
Wow.
They had his name misspelled, by the way. But I was like, oh damn, that seems really long for Akshay because he played last year and made the cut and played pretty well.
Yeah.
But FanDuel and Bet365, some other places, like had him at like 50 to 60 to 1. So I just
really?
out of pure value, I took the 120.
Yeah, I mean, you almost kind of have to. I mean,
that's my first Masters bet.
You probably moved the line on that, by the way. It's probably 50 to 60 to 1 now that you bet on it.
I checked this afternoon; it was at 80.
Okay, so you did move the line, you bastard.
Yeah, sorry, I should have texted everybody first. But I was like, I had to like triple take. Like I said, they still have his name spelled wrong. Even after
that's awesome.
But yeah, that's the first official Masters bet. So, T10 Colin Morikawa, mentioned him. You know, that's somebody that you and I we debated: do we ride the form, take him in this week?
I know
we didn't go that route. Would have been nice. Scotty T20 just never really had it. Didn't really getting really pissed off at his own putting, which is not a good
great
sign.
I think we need to switch putters again. I think like it's rode its path. Like let's just let it go. Get a new putter in his hands. Probably a Phantom. I said he should have gone to the Phantom last year when he was struggling. So
I do not understand the claw thing. Why are we doing the claw?
That's a great question because he wasn't doing it last year and he was putting just fine with that putter. So
So I don't know what's gonna. It feels like a change.
Like I get it because like I've never gone to the claw, but like I switched from interlock, double overlap. I've done some like crazier like interlocks. It's like I get it. Like when you're not putting well, you're like, all right, let's try something a little different.
Yeah.
But like going from that to like the claw seems like a drastic step when last year you wasn't even really putting that bad at the end. So
no, I don't know. The claw and other, various things like that to me feels like it makes putting more robotic, and I don't think he needs that. That's my whatever.
Yeah, he needs to be like he needs to be an athlete. Just like get out there and like use your talent rather than like manufacture it.
Yeah, that's what he does in every other aspect of his game.
Yep.
And
yes,
the putting, he's like trying to program the putting. I'm just like, no, I don't think that's how we got to do it.
Nope.
T33 for JT. I only bring this up. His rounds this week: 78, course record tying 62, 73, 73.
Oh my God.
Would you like to guess which day I bet his over?
The 62. It was a tough day for you on Friday. I'm not gonna lie. It was.
Yeah, I sent you guys too. I had a matchup parlay. Went 0-4.
Yeah, just absolutely tough day for you.
But yeah, we bounced back the rest of the weekend though, which is good. But yeah, dude, come on. Not only like does he, it was 70.5 coming off of a 78. He hit the ball like shit.
Oh God, it was so bad. He was so bad on Thursday. It was so bad.
And this guy comes out and not just like goes under 70.5. No, he ties the course record and had a chance to shoot 61, honestly. But
yeah, he bogeyed 18, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool. 59th, Jordan Spieth. Just Thursday was like we might be back because it was the full like
an eagle in there.
Yeah. There was 2 eagles. I think he made 2 pars through like the first 12 holes.
He was like 3 under.
Yeah. It was a wild ride, but netted out into 59. I don't know. I kind of want to keep monitoring Spieth. He has my interest peaked.
Yeah.
I don't think Sawgrass is the course for him.
No, I don't think so. No. We just talked about precision. That is not his game.
And then DFL among those that made the cut, so he extended his cut streak. But Xander Schauffele, again, 77-81 on the weekend.
Yeah.
He also had some comments. I think it was after the second round. He was just like, yeah, my game's ass. He was just like, everything sucks. Like, I just stink.
Yeah, it was not good on the weekend.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's a long way to go for him, I think. He's playing Valspar this week, so I mean, we'll see what happens. Miscuts, our guy Ludwig, just I have no words. It feels like one and done. We are just, it's not like we're making off the wall picks. Like we're trying to like these things make sense.
The worst thing is he missed the cut because he hit a shank on 16.
That
it was tough. I was watching that live and I'm just like buried my head into my hands. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, easiest hole in the course, and he shanks it in the water.
Like
Is that what
he's
happened?
just trying to lay up, and he just hosels it. And I'm like, oh. And then he hits again, and then he hits his next shot in the water. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? He had 2 balls in the water in that hole, by the way.
No, well that now I get it. I was out and about, busy doing stuff, but that hurts.
It was a bad. I was just like, this is our luck right here. Like he, okay, if he pars there, he parred 17 and 18. It's like we make the cut if he just pars 16 and you think they took a triple. It's like, damn. Actually, I think he might have birdied 18, but regardless, he takes a triple on 16, trying to lay the ball up. It was just our luck, It was just how it goes. How it's been going.
Yeah.
So,
jeez. We're gonna have to run off some of these turd tournaments to get ourselves back into it. It's the only way.
We start this week.
It starts at the Valspar. Miscut 2 for Victor Hovland, who remains lost. Max Homa also still lost. And I put Hideki on here just because, previous Masters champion, he wanted the Century earlier. He's not done a lot since then. So
he's not played well.
And then Wyndham withdrew. I didn't see a reason for that. I mean,
other than he was just playing like shits.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of a throwaway one, but yeah. One and done recap. Look, we took Ludwig, miscut, $0. We dropped 800 places in the standings.
Damn.
We still have 1.2 million in the bank. Now we have to make a pick for the Valspar. I've done zero research. Anything that I would know.
Or Michael Kim or Death. That's where I'm standing at this week.
Keegan, Michael Kim, or Death? God, that sounds like some bleak options.
And frankly, I don't even know if I've done the research to see if either of them are in the field. I'm going off. I know Keegan's played well here in the past.
Michael Kim is in the field, which I'm kind of intrigued by because he just missed a cut at the Players, and he's been hot.
Look, they struggle with Copperhead. They do. It's a tough. I shouldn't say struggle. It's just a tough course. I think I like the bogey avoidance on this course.
Yeah. He's made the cut here the last 2 years, but T45 and T33.
This feels like a chance for us to ride his hot streak a little bit.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Just to list off some names here. We're not going to burn Xander. Tommy is playing. T3 here in 2023, 2022 at T16. Feels like a bogey avoider.
Yeah,
between the mustard and mayo, but he'll probably
except he missed a putt tonight to send LA Golf Club home in the playoffs. He had a chance to extend the match and he lipped it out. So I'm not too happy with him right now.
I hate that, man. His non-winning is extending to screen golf.
Yeah.
That's not good. Sepp is playing. He's on a good form. His last 3: T14, T5, T11. Hasn't played particularly great here, but also he's a totally different player now. Corey Connors in some good form. T16 and a T21 here in his past. Doesn't feel like he'll win, though. That's the problem with Corey Connors. Probably too early to try to call Spieth. Save that one.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, I think
the Michael Kim play is the way to go. We've been talking about using him for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, you think
this feels like a fit for him?
I wonder if people are going to get off or going to jump back on. That's my
thing. I think people are going to get off of him, which I think is the best time to hop back on the train.
Yeah, let's do it. We got to take a swing.
Yeah.
Michael Kim, this would be an electric win. I'd be so pumped if he won.
And by the way, you want to talk about fan interaction? He is awesome on Twitter or X. He's awesome on there.
He might be the GOAT doing it right now.
Yeah, he might be. He very well might be.
Yeah, let's ride Michael Kim. Back 9 6-pack, one and done pick of the week. These have not been going well, but maybe he can break us out of the funk. That's what we need. I did have a note in here about TGL. Sounds like New York beat LA tonight.
Yes, they did.
Shocker.
Yeah.
That's
all that work for the 1 seed, and we're out in the first round.
That's tough. It feels like it's going to be. Look, the winner of the Bay Club and Atlanta Drive.
Oh my god! The worst case scenario is Atlanta versus New York. Just not good.
If New York were to go out and win this they're clearly the worst team in this. They
by a long shot too, for the record.
And nobody wants to see the Big Apple win. They got enough championships.
Yeah.
So I know that's setting up for my Bay Club tomorrow night.
Yep. Yeah, but I think they lost. I think New York won 6-3, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotcha.
But Tommy missed about a 5-footer to extend the match, win the hole and extend the match, and hard whip out. It was a tough scene.
At least he hit the hole. Tommy with a lot of those, he just straight misses the hole.
Just like we're not even going to get it close. Yeah, no, he whipped out, but there's always next year for my Los Angeles Golf Club.
Yeah, that's all we can hang our hats on. All right, fan mail time. First and foremost, I got to get this one out there. So a couple weeks, totally forgot to follow up about this. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about the Seminole Pro member, and I mentioned that our buddy Trevor had almost a chance to play there, and I couldn't remember what the story was. Well, he texted me shortly after that, and I totally forgot to bring it up last episode. So his Seminole connection was Jim Stahl, who I guess one of his exes worked for him as a nurse. Trevor said he beat Jack Nicklaus in the state championship back in the day.
That's sick.
And I've got a story about that too. He's a member there, and he owns CBT down here on Ridge Avenue.
Oh, okay.
In Cincinnati. He's also the tournament chairman of the Jones Cup in Sea Island, which is a big amateur tournament.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
JT, Corey Connors, some of those names have won that tournament. Anyway, so his brother was playing baseball in Florida at the time. And so he was taking him to his spring training. And this guy, Jim, FaceTimes him and was like, hey, do you want to, while you're down here, you want to come play Seminole? And the one day that Trevor could play happened to also be the day of the pro member. So he couldn't get out.
That's awesome.
So that was the story there. So Trevor also screenshotted this for me. I don't know. It's from like a news story or something, or maybe Wikipedia. I'm not sure. But quick excerpt from that. It says, Jim would soon finish second in the Greater Cincinnati Juniors, and he won the Cincinnati and Ohio JC Juniors. As a senior at St. Xavier High School, Jim led the Bombers to the state championship, coming from behind to defeat a young Jack Nicklaus and his Upper Arlington Golden Bears.
That's sick.
Jim qualified for the 1956 U.S. Junior Amateur and had a golf scholarship to Notre Dame, and hoped a golf scholarship to Notre Dame would provide the foundation upon which he could build a professional career. Sadly, after Jim had earned 3 varsity letters playing college golf and was approaching graduation in 1961, his father passed away at 52 years old, and he was the oldest of 7 children. So he went home to return and help care for his mom and his siblings. He worked at a bank, gave his mother his paycheck each month. And he did that until 1965 when he got married and they started a family of their own.
That's awesome. What a cool story, dude.
Yeah. Crazy that this guy was like a true hitter in high school and college.
Flushers only.
Yeah. And just wild the connections.
That's
life
pretty cool.
So had to get that into the record. So shout out Trevor for sending that info along. And now we're going to get into the hateful fan mail. First and foremost, we got our guy Steiny. I had to look up and figure out who was sending these messages in. I didn't even know who it was. Yeah, Steiny, if you're going to message, you got to leave your name on it for us. But he wrote in initially about the fast food item question that I had. Which, look, I get his point here. He said, we missed the very clear answer for the fast food item. Your only option has got to be some good chicken tenders because you can go variety wise, on the sauce side, mix it up a bit. And he mentions he's partial to Arby's tenders, which I was flabbergasted that he mentioned Arby's after you brought up the roast beef sandwich thing. And he said he could be convinced that Raising Cane's is a go-to. I think Cane's is a go-to, but the problem with that
if you're going chicken finger route, Cane's for sure.
If you want to, but if you're trying to mix up sauces, I would never stray from the cane sauce. So,
oh no, it's so good.
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
The thing there. So that's fine. Now, where the real hate starts coming.
Hold on, let me read mine first.
Okay, you go first.
I got one. Shout out to Chase. He's a fraternity brother of mine, avid listener. He goes, when thinking of sports movies, nobody in their right mind is thinking of Harry Potter. That's why he shouldn't have been anywhere near this bracket. A lot of Harry Potter hate.
Part of that's on me for posting the clip about it, but I'm gonna have that clip till I die. I'll never not laugh at that clip.
Look, and then my sister-in-law was burying me in the comments of that clip, saying it was embarrassing that I called it a snitch chaser, not a seeker. So,
yeah, you're the one riding for him to be in the field, and you didn't know what position he played, and 2, didn't even know what house he was a member of.
I was drawing a blank. I really was. It was like I was in like the heat of the moment. I couldn't remember.
So good. And this is the moment where I'll remind everyone this was a very stupid thing that we did just for fun. Please do not take it this seriously, or do take it this seriously. I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Back to Steiny now. Straight up, he just puts us on blast. No women in the field is sexist. And he said, not sure how you can't include Gina Davis's Dottie Henson character from A League of Their Own. I get it. We've discussed why we did that.
It was very closely related to an actual person. It wasn't fictional enough.
Correct. And he also mentioned Tom Hanks' character. Same thing. That's based on a very real person.
Yes.
That was a manager in that league. But then that will bring us to, unless you have more.
No, go ahead. Continue. I saw this one today.
This is, like I said, the shots are coming from inside the house here. My wife left an absolute novel of a fan mail text.
Oh, God.
I don't even know if I can
I made it like 2 sentences in, and I'm like, I know where this is going, and I'm out.
Yeah. I guess I'll read it in its entirety. I got to give her due respect. I live with this person, so.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Bear with me. Dedicated listener since the beginning here. Thank you. Thank you for listening. But I'm not going to lie. I'm coming in hot in response to the bracket pool. Mitch seems to be placing the blame on the other 3. I absolutely place the blame on you guys. And she said she's putting us all on blast. It's absolutely egregious in all caps to put Harry Potter on that bracket and tell us you couldn't find a single female character from a fictional sports movie worthy of the pool. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I have been since 4th grade, but to argue that he is an athlete in a fictional sports movie / show is a terrible take. The worst I've heard on the show. And she's listened to all 97 of these.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of bad takes on here. That's saying something. Okay.
Now this I can get on board with. I think we screwed the pooch on this one a little bit. For example, Hannah Waddingham is Rebecca Welton and Ted Lasso is the owner of the team, for goodness sakes. She brings Ted Lasso in. She won a Primetime Emmy and a Critics' Choice Award for that role.
I will say we missed the boat on that one. I agree with that. Yeah. She was a fantastic character too, by the way.
The character arc is pure genius and humanized her in so many ways. Mitch said you all didn't really know if an owner counted, but a damn wizard does. The rest of it I could leave it, but I'll read it anyway. Love and Basketball was a huge movie in the early 2000s. Monica Wright shows us so much depth and struggle as a female athlete. A League of Their Own, absolute classic. We mentioned why we didn't include that. She says, yes, the AAG PBL was real, but the only 2 characters in that movie loosely based on real players are Dottie Henson and Mae Mortonito. That's Gina Davis and Madonna's characters.
Okay, but the 2 best characters are like based on real people.
Correct. That was exactly what I said to her. So that's totally agreement there. She said, if you're this is where I felt attacked. If you're playing to your predominantly male listening base, I get it. It makes sense. But don't try to sell it as no options, though. I need some ownership of a bad take and oversight here. No excuses, boys.
You know what? I don't like the hate that Harry Potter is getting. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, I think you made your case.
But, like, here's the thing. So if we're using that, right, like, just like what Chase said, like, when you think of sports, you don't think of Harry Potter. Okay, do you think of Forrest Gump when you think of sports movies? And he was like a 6 seed or something crazy like that. No, he was an 8 seed. But regardless, like, he's an athlete in a movie, like a very popular movie. Well, Harry Potter's very popular, too. I don't know what Steiny was trying to send. I think he was trying to send a GIF through.
Yeah.
But he did throw some Roy Hobbs hate, I think. And if you want to, I don't know I think you read his, but I think he threw some Roy Hobbs hate in there, saying that Roy Hobbs could never do what Dottie Henson did. So Roy Hobbs, I'm sorry, he was a champion in someone's bracket. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the most of the feedback that we got, if we got any, was along those same lines. I will hand up. I do think Rebecca deserved to be in the bracket for sure.
I will say, I think if there was a miss on a female, it was her.
Yeah, like the show truly, like, as much as Roy's a good character, Jamie's a good character, like, the show is Ted and Rebecca. Like, they're the 1A, 1B.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's for sure an oversight. Forgive us for that. But hey, look, North Carolina got put in the tournament this weekend, and
Yeah.
Indiana and West Virginia got sent home. So there's going to be the committee's going to get some shit wrong. All right, you know. Harry Potter's athletic director was on the committee, so
yeah, apparently. But he wasn't in the room.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for sending those in. Please, everybody, check out the bracket again. Send us more. We'd love to talk through more of it. And with that, I believe it is time we're heading to the patio. Anything goes in the patio. I've already had my patio beer. I think you've had plenty of patio beers today.
I'm sucking down some water. I just since I've gotten back from Mexico, I just feel like I've just like not. I went to like a Diet Coke fiending situation, and then like just not have drinking enough water in the last week. So I'm like, the last couple of days, I've like really focused on like trying to hydrate, especially with the nice weather. I just don't know if I was just like not in the mood to drink water or whatever, but. Yeah, so I got a water today on the patio, but I'm going to go first because I almost had a complete meltdown on Thursday. I'm watching the Kentucky game. They were up 11 with a minute and 25 seconds to go. They ended up down with 5 seconds ago. A miracle they ended up winning. But it kind of brought up, we've talked some about like letdowns and things like that. But has there been a moment, because that would have been like number one. You're up 11 with a minute and 25. Like that is like nail in the coffin. Like this game's over for the most part. Like as a fan, you're thinking that. Has there been like, and I think I already know probably one of your answers, but like a moment where you're like, your team just completely just fell apart. Just like completely fell apart when, you're like, this is over and, just let you down.
Where can I start? The list is too long. What do you mean?
I can think of one off the top of my head that when I was thinking of this question, I'm like, this is definitely going to be brought up.
I think we've done a similar question to this, maybe not phrased that exact way. But
it was like heartbreaking moments as a fan, but like this is like cataclysmic, like falling apart when everything seemed like it was settled.
Yeah. So this one doesn't necessarily. Maybe it does count. If you take it outside of the scope of one game, that Red series in 2012 against the Giants, where they were up 2-0,
feels cataclysmic.
You just got to win one game at home over 3 games, and the way that it all went down, the Scott Rowland error, the game 5 where I was there, and Buster Posey just houses a grand slam, like that was horrible, and it was personal because I was in the stadium. But I think the two that immediately stand out, one. Probably the best UC basketball team that we've had since the Huggins era was not even the one that went to the Sweet 16 with Mick, but the one where they were a 3 seed and they gave up a 20-point lead to Nevada.
Oh man, I forgot about that game. Yeah, it was like 5 minutes left or something like that, 6 minutes.
I tried to block out my memory.
It was less than 10 minutes left in the game, and they were up 20.
Yeah, the Martin brothers absolutely took us to the woodshed late in that game, and that's
the must bus, baby. The must bus.
Truly just like a monumental collapse where it was one of those where you're just like stunned. Like it was like what actually just happened. So that one, but then like the most devastating in the moment where like my fandom very much died almost. Like it was like I don't even know how to describe it. The 2015 playoffs for the Bengals, the game against the Steelers. This is the Jeremy Hill fumble, the Pac-Man Jones and Joey Porter getting into it.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Vontaze Burfict beheading of Antonio Brown. Just everything that was like, they had the game won. Like I'm sitting, this is again, shout out to Trevor. Him and I are sitting next to each other on the couch. We're not even a minute before that. We're jumping up and down. We're hugging each other. We think we've broken a 30-year curse, like, and it was against the Steelers. It was revenge, retribution, all of it. And then for it to go down the way that it did with the knuckleheads on the field, just handing it right back over to the freaking Steelers, I've never felt so deflated as a fan. And like truly, like I didn't come back until they drafted Joe Burrow in 2020. Like it was like it almost killed my love of football. Like that's how devastating that loss was.
Yeah, that I thought that's the one that came to my mind when I asked the question. I'm like, this is definitely it. I'm sticking with Kentucky basketball because, obviously, you're talking like it's a perfect moment. I think it's the 3-year anniversary of this game, but Kentucky comes in as a 2 seed, playing St. Peter's on St. Patty's Day, and they're going back and forth, right? But I'm looking at it right now. With 3 minutes left, Kentucky had a 6-point lead. Okay, you're the better team. That is a death sentence for a 15 seed. You're like, oh, they're about to bust this wide open. We're going to start fouling. The game's over. With 1 minute and 26 seconds left, Doug Eddert hits a 3 to go up 1. Now, it ends up going into overtime. But, just to me, it's like you're a 2 seed, you're up 6, you're about to put the game away. And 99.9% of the time, the 2 seed is going to put that game away to let some, what do you want to call him? Like, pick-up basketball game guy come down and make a 3, and they take the lead, and the rest is history. They lose in overtime. But that was a cataclysmic letdown. It was so bad. Like, I think in the first half, they went up like 10 at one point. Kentucky was up 10. I'm like, this game's over. And, St. Peter's just kind of like kept clawing back and clawing back and clawing back. And, I'm looking it up now. But, yeah, I think Kentucky went up like 8 or something like that in the first. It's like, that's over. Like, most of the time, that's over. And that team was very good. There were some weird circumstances surrounding their best player where he didn't want to fly to Indianapolis. He wanted to drive. So the rest of the team flew, and he drove, and then they ended up losing. It was just but the whole situation of like that guy, making a 3 and they take the lead and it ends up going into overtime and they lose. But that was a cataclysmic let. We almost had one on Thursday night though. They were up 11 with like 1 minute and 30 left, and somehow found themselves down 1 with 5 seconds left. It was close to me just breaking something. It really was close. But when I asked this question, I figured you were going to bring up the Jeremy Hill fumble.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that's the most devastating one. So I just did a little time researching the UC one just because I couldn't remember the details. They had a 22-point lead in that game, and it's the second biggest comeback in March Madness history. They were up 65-43 with 11:34 remaining. So there was a lot of time left. Nevada went on 2 separate 10-0 runs to kind of close the gap a little bit. They had Cody Martin pulled off a 3-point play with 3 minutes and 53 seconds left to make it a 1-possession game. And that was the first lead that Nevada had in the game from the first bucket at 2-0. So, just a truly, cataclysmic
That's bad
collapse. And, yeah, that would have been a Sweet 16 bid. And if you remember, this was the Loyola Chicago season. And that was the bracket that produced them in the Final Four.
Yeah.
So, things broke in that bracket for UC. I believe they were a 2 seed, actually, to get there. And they fell on their face after being up by 22.
Yeah, that was the same year, when Kentucky lost to St. Peter's. There was a ton of upsets in that bracket. It's like, dude, you would have. I think if you went back and looked at it, for them to make the Elite Eight, they would have had to beat St. Peter's, I want to say Morehead State, maybe, or no, Murray State, and then they would have had their toughest game would have been Purdue. If you're looking at seed wise, it'd have been number 3 Purdue, but they would have had to beat a 3 seed to get to the Elite Eight, essentially, and it's like. It kind of opened up, and you're just looking at it, you're like, wow, you can't be. Yeah, that's the same. I remember that year though. That was the Loyola bracket. I do remember that. So that makes it even tougher. You're like, man, if we get past this game, what happens? Kind of thing.
Exactly.
I've been on the opposite side of it, as a fan. I remember 1998 Kentucky versus Duke. Kentucky was down 16 in the Elite Eight. They ended up coming back and winning that game, and they were down 16 in the second half. I think it was under 10 minutes ago, too. They came back and won that. So I've been the benefit of some cool comebacks and things like that. You talk about Aaron Rodgers. against the Cardinals. They end up losing that game, but he throws essentially 2 Hail Marys, one to get to the 50, and then a Hail Mary to score. I think that was a pretty cool situation as far as like on the other side of it as a fan.
Yeah, I mean the flip side of that for me would have been the Bengals Super Bowl year, the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, especially.
Yeah, what was it, 21-3 at halftime?
Yeah, and they got that huge goal line stand there, where the Chiefs looked like they were going to score again, and then came roaring back. So yeah, that would be the flip side moment.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, St. Patrick's Day. You sent along in an all-time classic video. Anybody seen the Leprechaun say yeah?
I love that video. Is the best.
It's truly the best. But got me thinking, like some of the old, like the OG YouTube like viral videos. Dude. What are the best ones? What's your favorite one?
Oh, I mean, if you want to take it to Vine
counts too.
Dude, I think one of the best Vine videos is "Damn Daniel."
Well, yeah,
back with the white vans. That one's fucking awesome. I mean, I'll tell you, the Leprechaun one is up there.
Oh, it is, yeah, for sure.
Could be a crackhead. That one's up there. I mean, Jaeger bomb guy, like that one's up there. That was like the OG of YouTube, like skits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Old Greg is up there. Like old Greg is fantastic, dude. Those were classic YouTube. The chicken sandwich guy, you remember him?
The unforgivable guy?
Yeah. So good.
I looked up a few of these just thinking about it too, and it's like they're like 17, 18 years old. Like they're literally from us like being seniors, juniors, seniors.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they're half our age essentially. Yeah.
That was like the time when YouTube kind of like first hit the scene, and it was like viral videos really kind of took off.
Yep.
Now it's just a dime a dozen, and people kind of manufacture them. But back then, it was like a true like discovery. Like, holy shit, what did I uncover? The Grape Lady is a classic one.
Oh, yeah.
The sound she makes when she falls. Oh my god. That's a classic. Speaking of Harry Potter, the Harry Potter Puppet Pals, the Snape song or whatever it is. That'll get stuck in your head forever. My personal favorite, though, never even played World of Warcraft, but the Leroy Jenkins video.
Oh my god, yeah, is so good.
An absolute all-timer.
Jenkins. Yeah, that's
they're like, holy shit, he just went in.
Like, all right, go. Yeah. I've never played World of Warcraft, but that video is fantastic. Like it's just like
Leroy Jenkins.
He's giving him like remember like in the beginning he's giving him like a pump up speech, and he's like, and then he runs in. They're like, oh shit, he just went in by himself. Like,
and then they just get massacred. It's so funny.
Yeah, I was funny. I just had a conversation about the Damn Daniel video not that long ago. Yeah, that was like 14 years ago. Like that's how long ago that was. But the damn Daniel, back at it with the white vans. Like, nowadays that dude would have had like a Vans, sponsorship within 14 hours of making that video and it going viral.
Yeah.
That stuff didn't happen back then. People just made viral videos because it was funny.
Yeah. Or like wasn't even intended that way. Just like
became, it's just like
became a pop culture thing or a meme or whatever.
Yeah, old Greg. We used to quote old Greg a lot.
See, the only thing with old Greg is I feel like it might have been like an Adult Swim thing first.
I think it might have been too. Yeah,
I wouldn't qualify it as a YouTube video, but
the Jaeger bomb guy, I can't remember his name.
That's one for sure. Even if you extend some of the stuff to like E-Bomb's World, there's I don't remember much about it, but there's one where Will Ferrell, I think it was like him and Adam McKay started E-Bomb's World, like truly
I know
comedy geniuses.
Yep.
And one of the first videos I remember them having on there was like, it was like a drunk like baby landlord talking shit to Will Ferrell.
I remember that video.
Absolute classic too.
And that was like before Will Ferrell was like big too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was early on.
So yeah, that, and then you throw it back even a little bit further, and like stuff like Homestar Runner. I don't know if you were a Homestar Runner guy, but
I don't remember that one.
That was its own website, like kind of short cartoon type clips, but yeah, just man, what
I'll tell you though, the Leprechaun's up there. Like it's amateur sketch. The amateur sketch. Like I don't know how those people didn't have their heads buried in the news desk when they came back to them. Like I would have just lost. I couldn't have. There's no way I'd have kept a straight face in all that. Like I'm gonna get me a back. I'm gonna get that gold.
Just searching for the pot of gold.
Oh, and the guy with the leprechaun flute and
the sketch of the leprechaun.
Oh God, it's like on yellow. It's on like yellow, like work. Like the legal paper or something too.
Oh God, that's gonna be the thumbnail for this episode. It's gonna be the leprechaun sketch.
God, it's so good. I watched that video. I swear to God, I watched it last night 45 times.
Yeah.
It never gets old. It never does. Oh,
it's so good. Yeah. I had to take that trip down memory lane. I miss those days of like the true, like
viral videos. Like
not
true.
Just like you're not the fifth person seeing it of your friend group. Like you discovered it and you shared it with somebody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like every once in a while you come across a gem. Yeah.
And nowadays, it's like by the time you see something, it's already become like 10 different versions of it. It's like using,
and there's
reels
5 million views of it. Like, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's so different. And Vine is like so much. I'm not a TikTok person, but
dude, Vine is
take TikTok away. Bring back Vine.
God, Vine was so good. Oh, so good.
It was the best. The best. All right. That'll get us out of here for the evening. Thank you all for listening or watching. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack. Smash the like button on the way out while you're at it. And fan mail description. The link's down there. So do that. Download the bracket too. Got to get on the bracket. Watch that video. I'm telling you. Dumbest thing we've ever done. Maybe the funniest thing we've ever done.
It's good.
Yeah. Enjoy that. And until then, cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.